Go ahead, guys.
Just what did you see from Hundley there in the ninth?
I can't say it. Big stones. And the other thing was, we kind of talked about it last night. I mean, the crowd certainly enriches the environment, but you got to be able to handle it in whatever way you see fit. And I was kind of impressed in the way the dugout acted and the way our players acted in the eighth. I mean, obviously, it just kind of sped out of control there on Blade, but he was throwing strikes. They found a couple holes, and then Wes Clark, a dynamic hitter, got him. I mean, that's going to happen. It just seemed to happen all at once. But for the most part, the guys in the dugout and the guys on the field, starting with the pitchers, kind of had a lot of composure, which is essential in this environment.
And then there with Blade in the top of the eighth, do you kind of wish you could go back and have somebody ready earlier, or are you still comfortable with kind of how that played out?
No, and trust me, I talked about it with the team last night. That's a tough deal when you're talking about when to take a guy out, when to put a guy in. You go off matchups. And again, it always, if you try to bunt somebody or you try hit and run, if it works, you look smart. If it doesn't, you look foolish. So the best thing is to have a little plan. And Blade has earned the right to roll into as deep in the game as he can. And I think the biggest thing is if somehow we would have not put Blade back out there in the eighth or yanked him after one base hit, the happiest people in the world would have been sitting in the other dugout over there.
What did you see from Blade in his first 7 innings, and just how much better has he gotten from the beginning of the year now?
Well, he was outstanding, and he picked up where he left off last week. I think, Arkansas is the number one team in the country, hands down. I mean, kind of undisputed type group there. And for him to throw the way he did against them, I think gave him a lot of confidence. And without that, I'm not so sure he doesn't pitch as well as he does here today, especially after giving up a leadoff homer and having to navigate his way through a pretty dangerous lineup.
Just how big was the bottom of the lineup this weekend? Just Luke and Pete and Pav today with a 3-run homer.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, just to have Pav back in a groove and healthy helps a lot. Jordan back being himself. And then, I think Luke is as dangerous of a hitter as we have. I've had a couple ESPN announcers tell me that. Just the look of him, the way the ball comes off the bat, I think he leads our team in hard contacts. So wherever we decide to sort those guys out, I think it helps coming to the park, and the whole team knows we can score at any part of the order.
Has been on fire since coming back from injury. Just how difficult is that to do, to hit the ground running the way he has?
It's a challenge, but he's such a maniac preparation guy that he's constantly seeing things or doing things to prepare, and even in his downtime was maximizing the available hours to try and be ready to go when he gets back out here. But he's one of the best catchers in the country. Hell, if you start in the SEC and you're a catcher, you're one of the best catchers in the country. But he's a special one.
And then you clinched a top 4 seed in the tournament with a win today. Just how important is that for the SEC tournament next weekend?
I think it's important, and we'll get to that. I mean, we just kind of waited for Pav to finish his interview out there, and we told the guys we'll get sorted for what's to come. But we were just kind of reflecting on, a fun 56 games, and I think all that'll be good. But Coach Kingston, who I have a lot of respect for, had wise words after the game. He wasn't happy about losing, I know that, but he was happy that both teams, mainly for his club, experienced this. This is going to help us and them, and that's why you see SEC teams make a run like they do in the postseason. This is exactly what a super regional looks like, and if you can experience it before it happens, then if you're fortunate enough it does happen, then you're more than ready.
Tough weekend for Drew. Just anything in particular stand out that he's struggling with?
Yeah, I think he sometimes was focused a little bit too much on how he was going to do it rather than just doing it. And that's just my gut. It's watching him from this, vantage point, maybe a couple conversations with him. But if you go back to the LSU game, Georgia Southern, at Georgia Southern, he made a lot of enemies in that bullpen of theirs, and they're chirping back and forth. I think Drew's at his best when he's just determined to do what he wants to do and not overanalyzing how he's going to do it, if that's fair to say.